सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्मावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम।
हाँ जी नमस्कार उर्वशी। हाँ जी मेरा नाम शिरीष है।
शिरीष।
हाँ जी
स्नेह उमा
Shireen
and
and
Atma
Atma.
शिरीन ना उनका मेरा नाम शिरीष।
शिरीष।
शिरीष
शिरीना।
शिरीन ना ना नहीं शिरीन।
Shireen
शिरीष शिरीन।
and उनके हस्बैंड शिरीन के हस्बैंड आत्मा।
Atma.
welcome
And your name is Urvashi. Urvashi. First time. So how did you hear about Atma? Oh, you.
okay. So let's do the second one. Gurur Brahma
Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Gurave Namah.
Om
Bhurvuvah Swaha
Tatsavitурvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. So we will start with chapter 3. Remember we did two, 3 verses
Right.
where Krishna Bhagavan said that there were 2 paths.
What we are doing, Urvashi, is we do some. We have already done the Stagya Purush का लक्षण क्या होता है? Stagya Purush.
Sthita Prajna.
Sitya Pragna Purush. That we have already done from the Bhagavad Gita. And now we are doing Karma, no?
Yeah, we're doing Karma Yoga. So
Karma
this is
Yoga.
what happened. We started with the Upanishad, with this Mandukya Upanishad. You've heard of Mandukya? Okay, good, great. So then, we said that it's better to also do a little bit of what our goal is, because here they are talking about very high level stuff, but then we need to know where we stand and where we have to adopt these things in our lives. So one of the question was that, what is a self-realized person? What have we met them? And then the same question was asked by Arjun. So then Krishna Bhagavan answered, and we did all that. And then Karma Yoga I thought was a very good for all of us, because we need to fine-tune our own daily actions. How we do what we do, because it's great to learn the philosophy, but also very important how we apply that. That's where we are coming from. So last time we did a couple of verses, and as I said that...
You want to come here, you can share the book.
Okay. So remember he said there were 2 paths, path of knowledge and path of action. And anybody remembers what was the relationship between the 2?
Path of knowledge and path of action.
Were they competitive or were they complementary? What comes first and what comes after?
They are complementary, I think.
Yeah. Firstly they're complementary.
Yeah, and they're not competitive like they
They're
are.
not competitive, but what comes first for most of the people?
Normally you are doing action without knowledge, but it should be knowledge with action.
Well, yeah, that's one aspect, but the reason that whole thing started with Bhagavad Gita is that Arjun wanted to not fight the war and run away and do meditation. So he told them, no, you're not ready for it.
Right.
So the same thing with us, that we need, for us, path of action is very, because that comes first, that leads us. Once we do the Karma Yoga, that will lead us to path of knowledge. Verse 3, and now verse 4.
What is the book?
Which one? This is Bhagavad Gita. Yeah.
And which is the other one?
This one is, they use it for chanting because they break the sandhi a little bit.
Using Chenmans.
Yeah, and so for me it's like, it's better to chant and say it, because then it, whole process, Okay, so verse 4 of chapter 3.
Verse 4.
Verse 4 of chapter 3 now. Na karmana manarambhat naishkaryam purushošnute na cha sanyasya na deva siddhim samadhigacchati. Okay, so the English translation is, not by non-performance of action does man reach actionlessness, nor by mere renunciation does he attain perfection. So this one, the way it sounds, it can be very, very confusing, but all of us have some, knowledge of all this, so I think we will get it once he opens it up. And basically he's saying, remember where Arjuna is coming from. He wanted to run away. So first he told him, by non-performance of action, man does not reach actionlessness. Now remember, you had discussed that actionlessness many times in the class.
If you want to sleep, it's an action. Do not want to sleep is also an action. So it's not.
If you fall asleep, then
it is a karma.
Yes, a karma.
Yeah. So basically, what Chinmayananji actually said in his commentary, that when he first read this, when he was a novice, he was like totally disgusted with it. Like, what is actionlessness? I mean, is he saying that not to do action? So then he said that after he studied everything, he realized, and then he uses one sentence over here, knowledge springs in men on the destruction of sinful karma, when the self is seen in self as the clean mirror. Remember we talked about that mirror? So right now all our mind has lot of Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsarya in it. The only way to remove that is by karma yoga. Because it's like through karma only we have got that. So use the same but do the right action in the right mode, and then it starts cleaning up, and then the knowledge will dawn upon it. Because if we go with too much of junk in our head and start reading, it won't sink in. That's the logic over here. That's the experience of all the saints and sages. So there are some people who are very vairagi from the very beginning because they already have a cleaner mind. But for Arjun and people like us, we got to do the karma yoga, take that as a primary thing that will lead us to path of knowledge.
Scientific way I thought about is that to every action there is equal and opposite reactions. So every karma you do carries a consequence. So then you keep building your stack of karmas. Everything you do, you keep building stack. Now in order to get moksha, you have to finish your desires and reduce this stack to zero. But if you keep working in a regular mode, you'll keep building the stack because anything you do. So in order to reduce the stack, whatever karma you have been given from past, and if you are doing that because of that, do it in akarma mode, which means in a yoga mode. Yogast hokar karm kar. So that way the stack will start reducing gradually. So that's why many people, they may have no desires, but they're still working and they're living in the life. But the way they live causes them to become moksha if they reduce the stack.
So what is yoga mode? Is sab Bhagwan ko arpit karke karna?
Yoga, yeah.
There are many different ways. One is what you said. There are जिनको बड़ी भक्ति होती है वो अर्पण कर देते हैं. तो बोले बुरा अच्छा everything अर्पण, तो then that's fine. जो ज्ञानी जिनको बहुत knowledge वगैरह का interest है वो बोलेंगे कि भाई ये हम लोग ने जैसे सीखा है कि भाई everything is God. तो मैं हूँ ही कौन? I'm just an instrument. And जो दूसरे होते हैं वो अष्टांग योगा से they will do the 8 step and then reach there. So there are several paths, but the whole idea is that if we know the goal, you can take the path that is more conducive to your
But
own
in
mind.
working mode, you are not doing for your own personal interest.
Yeah, that's very
because that
important.
is logical, or you're not doing logical or emotional. You are doing both. Minds are closed. So your universe is directing you what to do, and you're doing it for the whole universe, not just for you.
They're not selfish. If you can
If
think
you don't expect return, that's
Yeah,
fine.
reward.
Yeah.
You just keep on doing what
Right.
you
because
Yeah.
that's the right thing to do for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And when you do the right thing, always good results come anyway.
And in fact,
So
he
you
will
don't
tell
do it.
here that you dedicate to me. If you
Yeah.
cannot dedicate, then do this, then do this.
He's going to tell about
Yeah.
many things, and what I'm planning to do with Karma Yoga
Yeah.
chapter is go step by step and
Right.
finish, because for us it's very, very
Yeah,
important.
right.
Okay, and then another thing Swamiji said over here in this sentence, and therefore through right action we have to get a complete purgation of existing impressions gained through our past actions.
Right.
So that's what you are saying.
Yeah, right.
That by doing the right action, you will purgate all the thing that
You will reduce
jama
the
ho gaya,
stack.
remind
So
me.
just think, I have 5,000 actions left, and I have to reduce them 5,000 by doing them in karma mode.
Exactly.
A
I
karma
think-
mode.
And then another sentence he uses here, in short, the path of action is the only process, see, the only process by which an ordinary dense mind and intellect can be made knowledge worthy. So that's such an importance that for people like us who have a lot of vasanas and a lot of this, that we have to do this so that we become knowledge worthy. Okay. And then another thing he says that this word that he has used, the actionlessness, is a very special import in it. So that I think all of us understand what it is. And another thing he said that it's called desirelessness, thoughtlessness, or actionlessness. All three are the same word.
Yeah.
And the reason he's saying that the reason we get these desires is because we have like ignorance of the self. That's why because one is like doing in a karma mode, another thing is, hey, if I get this, I'll be so happy. That kind of thing. And that propels us to do these actions. So actions are nothing other than the actor's thoughts projected and expressed in the world. So whatever action we do in the world, it starts with our thoughts. And if you have thoughts of desire, that's what you're doing. That's what it is. And the other thing he scientifically was saying that the experience beyond ignorance. Okay, we have studied in Mandukya that how that Turiya state is beyond the three, right? So he's saying that you have to transcend to reach that, correct?
Yeah.
So where does action take place? Where the desire takes place, and where does the thought takes place?
First and second stage.
It's always in the body, mind, and intellect.
Right.
And he's telling you to transcend it, so that it has to be actionless, desireless, and thoughtless.
Right.
That's where these three words are coming from. I thought he explained it very nicely, because we said, what is this three word? Why they are using it? But now that we have studied Mandukya, we can relate to it. That's why they use. So whenever we see these words, now we should know why they are using it. Okay, and one more I highlighted over here. By mere renunciation of action, sannyas, because remember in the verse he said one more thing. He said, not by mere renunciation does he attain perfection. So now he's talking about renunciation of action means I don't want to do anything. Arjun didn't want to do, he wanted to run. He said, no one attains perfection. Running away from life is not the way to reach the highest goal of evolution. That's what he's saying. So through action to a purification of the inner instrument, applying which the seeker walks the path of knowledge to reach ultimately the self-discovery. So that's what he's saying. And then so that was one verse, and we'll do one more. Any questions?
Can you just read the words again, because it's been broken, we can't understand.
Okay. He says, not by non-performance of action does man reach actionlessness. Because if you think of actionlessness, the first thought that comes to your mind is, let me not do anything.
Yeah.
So he said,
But he's saying, no, that's not it.
that's not it. So then he explained what is actionlessness. And then, not by renunciation does he attain perfection. I'm going to go and sit in the jungles and do. That doesn't mean the people who go there are wrong. No, because they are already such high cleanliness in their mind that for them it's fine to go and meditate. But for people like us, we need to do the karma yoga. That's what he's saying. Any other doubts, question, comment? Anybody? Okay. So now verse 5. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi chatu nishthyatya karma krut karyate hevasha karma sarva prakriti chay gunehi.
So let her read the chanting if you want.
Oh,
You
yeah,
want to do
maybe
that?
you are. If
You're
you are good at it, fantastic.
No. You
Try.
are good too.
No.
It's okay.
Okay, next one.
You don't know your specs, next time bring your specs.
I was hoping we'll get some chanter in our class. Okay.
If it is big,
Yeah, try. Just see.
It's number 5.
नहि कश्चित् क्षणम् अपि जातु तिष्ठत् कर्म कार्यते हयवश कर्म सर्व प्रकृति जय गुणे.
Good, good. We all are learning here, practicing. Okay, so here, this is a small one, but very simple one. So now he says, verily none can ever remain, even for a moment, without performing action. For everyone is made of to act helplessly, indeed, by the qualities born of Prakriti. Because we have the body will do something from womb to tomb. There is no way it's not going to do anything. And we had discussed that. If somebody says, I don't want to do anything, I want to just sleep, sleeping is an action too. Thinking is an action too, from the Vedic point of view. So that's what he's saying. So he's saying that man is ever agitated under the influence of the triple tendencies. And what is the qualities born of Prakriti? I don't know if you guys have studied that. There are Prakriti is made of 3 things, tamas, rajas and sattva.
Yeah.
Those 3 gunas, whether you are sinner or whether you are saint, everybody has it. As whoever has a body has those 3 things. You cannot escape it. So he's talking about that will propel us to act. So now everybody has to act no matter what. So now we have to learn how to act, that's all. Act to karna hi padega hame. So that's what he's saying. That even if we are physically at rest, mentally and intellectually we are active. Except when. We have learned that, except when. No?
Deep sleep.
Deep sleep. Means we are talking about general people now. Even we, when we go to deep sleep.
Even Turiya, you have to act.
Not reach that.
Turiya, you are not doing it. When you are in that state, it becomes actionless, no? From that
No, but you have to act.
physically,
but you have to
maybe
do a
active,
karma.
yes. Yeah.
A karma.
A karma mode. You could be sitting or you could be doing an action and you could be in Turiya state.
Right.
But you are right that what we have studied that each one of us also go in that mode only when we are deep sleep. So other 2, action is
Always action is there.
Yeah. He also says that not to act is to disobey the law of nature. So that will bring cultural deterioration, So
Yeah.
that's why I was saying that dunya chalane ke liye bhi, there are people who are in very karma, what you call, karma yoga mode, and then if they chalao dunya, that's much better, right?
इसीलिए उन्होंने बोला God is within you. So take care of God means take care of you.
Right.
So that the God is happy. And
So
God is happy, you are happy.
yeah, and you cannot help others unless you are happy.
yeah, that's for
That's
sure.
another
It's
thing.
very true.
Yeah, you
So-
cannot give what
So
you don't
if you are
have.
unhappy and you
Yeah.
start telling, oh, I'm going to help others, so I'm unhappy, you cannot do that.
Right.
So first make yourself happy and then help others.
Right.
So being selfish, but that's okay.
That's in a different
Because you
way.
are taking care of God within you.
So the last sentence of this, that Swamiji's comment is, therefore, the Gita advises him to act vigorously with the right attitude of mind so that he may avoid all internal waste of energy and learn to grow in himself.
Right.
So that was the goal.
Yeah.
कुछ तो करेगा ही, तो कुछ अच्छा काम करे और grow होए. बस, those 2, if we can remember that. So that was our dose for our...
Okay, can I talk about, can you discuss that, the one that somebody sent me, which I sent to everybody, the difference between super consciousness and the...
I missed that one, I didn't see that, because
Oh.
I had a family reunion
Oh,
in my
really?
house.
So,
I didn't read that.
you didn't read because,
I didn't see it. Did you send it recently?
Yeah, I sent to everybody.
When did you
That the
send?
Swami's thing?
2, 3.
This is Sivanand's.
Oh yeah, I was going to, but I couldn't do
That
it.
is
but-
really, that's
Okay.
amazing.
Oh, you mean that one which I commented also, that was so beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh yes.
we
Of
should
course.
actually discuss that if we can.
I mean, that was
You
in
have-
Curious State he did.
Yeah,
he did.
you can find it.
Yeah, I can find it.
Because,
Yeah, I thought that was
because
so
it
beautiful.
differentiated between a 4th state, which is Turiya Guy, and super consciousness. He says still they are 2.
Because even in Bhagavad Gita, they
Yeah.
call it, I think it's chapter 15,
Yeah,
where he says that there is one state which is beyond everything. I think he called it Parameshwar or something.
Right.
One word he has used
Yeah.
that. And from that, it becomes like...
So he described all the attributes of the fourth state.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the thing,
Yeah.
which is different than the total energy and super consciousness, which we talked about, pralaya, when there is nothing, So,
Okay,
so that's
so-
how you distinguish between that level and the next level.
What did you want to do? Do you want to read it?
I want to read and see if we can discuss, because it describes, and this will be the one we'll be ending up in end of 12 shlokas in Upanishad.
Okay.
So that he summarized.
Experience of fourth state. Here it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You can read it.
Okay, so this is from a Sivanand daily brief aata hai. So somebody sent me that. And I thought it was so appropriate and timely because we are
Yeah,
studying
it
that.
was timely and appropriate. You're right.
Because it says, state of cosmic consciousness is beyond description. It
I don't
induces,
think I got this one.
if you are not in the
Okay,
mailing,
I'll forward it again. We all got it.
yeah. It induces awe, supreme joy, and unalloyed felicity. The state of cosmic consciousness is below the absolute consciousness. In other words, there is an absolute consciousness, which we talked about, and then below that is the state of consciousness. Okay. He talks about absolute consciousness is Nirgun Brahmic consciousness, wherein the seer sight, the thing seen, or the knower, knowable, and knowledge, or the subject and object become one in cosmic consciousness. So there nothing exists. Only
Oneness,
one.
complete
Yeah.
oneness. Yeah.
And there is yet the seer and the seen. In cosmic consciousness, there is a seer and the seen still there. So cosmic consciousness is perfect awareness of the oneness of life. The yogi feels that the universe is filled with one life and that there is no such thing as blind force or dead matter, and that all is alive, vibrating and intelligent. He experiences a sense of universality, a consciousness of eternal life. He who has cosmic consciousness feels that the universe is all his, like he owns the whole universe, like we discussed. He is one with the Supreme Lord, with the universal knowledge and life. He gets the eye celestial and experience bliss beyond a understanding and description. A yogi of cosmic consciousness develops the cosmic sense and has universal understanding. He is conscious of being in immediate presence of God. During illumination, a floodgate of joy breaks, and he realizes that the deep, everlasting fountain of joy exists in every heart, that the immortal life underlies all beings, that the eternal, all-embracing, all-inclusive love envelops, supports and guides every particle, every atom of creation. Sin, sorrow, death are now but words for him, without meaning. He feels the elixir of life, the nectar of immortality flowing in his veins. His face shines with a radiant light. His eyes are lustrous. There are pools of joy and bliss. He feels that the entire world is bathed in the sea of satisfying love, which is the very essence of life. He feels that the whole world is his body, that all hands and all feet are his. The chair, table, the tree all have a cosmic significance. He could never feel strange or alien to any place. Cosmic consciousness is an inherent, natural facility of all men and women. It is inactive or non-functioning in the majority of human beings. Yogic training and discipline are necessary to awaken the exalted blissful state of cosmic consciousness. In the four kinds of mukti and the bhava samadhi of bhaktas, the lower samadhi is of a Raja yogi, Savartika, Savarchara, Nivachara, Sananand, Sasmita, Ritambra and Prajna, etc. And the lower Savajika samadhi of a Vedantit all lead to the experience of cosmic consciousness. The ways to approach may be different, but the fruit is the same. The experience are common intuition, revelation, inspiration, ecstasy, and synonymous terms. This is a little
Very,
complicated.
very, very nice description.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So actually
It's
that
so positive. Like
Yeah.
you just want to be in that.
right, and like
Strive
that
for
I
it.
was thinking of that Anita Murjani thing,
Yeah, the house.
like when she came back, she had understanding of everything. Wherever
Yeah.
she concentrated, she knew what it is.
Yeah.
She didn't have to analyze anything.
And that
So-
oneness, she felt oneness with everything, and even the Sadhguru's experience.
Right.
It was if you hear about it, that's exactly how it
Yeah.
was. He felt total oneness and ecstasy.
Yeah. Right.
Yes. And even Yogananda, Yogananda has talked about it. Vivekanandaji has talked about it. I'm not sure.
He did when.
A lot of people don't, but sometimes with
No,
their
Vivekananda, Ramakrishna gave him that experience by touching him,
right.
and he said for 3 days he just saw nothing but Brahma everywhere.
Yes. So that's what
That's
the
what
experience is. Yes.
And then he wanted to keep it, and he said, "No, I'm going to take the key away from you. You have work to do.
Exactly.
You do the work, and then I'll give it back
Back
to
to
you."
you. Yes.
And then when he was dying last day, he transferred all his knowledge to him. And then Ramakrishna said, "I'm very poor now because I have given everything I have to you." So from that day, Vivekananda had all the knowledge.
Amazing. So let's do the Shanti part. So
Right.
every Upanishad has a Shanti part in the beginning.
So what do you know about Mandukya?